Hi, thanks for joining. Uh, we're going to do a webinar today on how to put Google Ads to work to grow your business. It's kind of a big topic. It's a critical topic if you're looking to be successful using digital channels, and it can sometimes be intimidating. So the goal here is to demystify it and give you the comfort with the tools and some insights into some of the features that are considered advanced features that will really make life much easier for you. Also, my goal is to help you avoid some of the common mistakes and pitfalls. So, as usual, we're going to keep it pretty high level, but make it really practical and actionable so that you can put this stuff to work right away. You should literally be able to finish this webinar and go right in to Google Ads and set up a campaign and start seeing traffic from it today. So with that, let's jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a moment to get that going. Also, if you have questions along the way, please enter those into the chat box, and we're going to have time to address those at the end. So here we go. Okay, should now see my screen. So I'm Lael Sturm. I'm the founder and managing partner at LPSS Digital Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency focused entirely on serving small and medium-sized businesses in their pursuit of growth through digital channels. So we provide everything from these sorts of courses and educational work to help you get situated yourself, as well as full service agency tools. So if you learn about Google Ads and decide this is not for you, but understand the value of it and would like to have us set up and run the program for you, we can do that. We do the same on social media and organic search and email newsletters and content marketing and you name it. So it's all here for you. All you have to do is ask. All right, so jumping right in here. Let's start with the agenda. Today we're going to do an overview to make sure you understand what it is we're talking about. Then we're going to jump into a common question that we get, which is what's the difference between Google Ads and Google AdWords Express. We're gonna break that down for you so that you can make an informed choice about which is right for you. We're going to talk about keyword research. Now, one note here: this is the most critical bit. So please pay special attention to that. Take notes. We will, of course, be sharing the slide deck afterwards. So if you miss something, you can always go back and revisit it. Also, as always, the recording of this webinar and all past webinars are available in the library for members. So you can access that in real time, and you can share it with your team or other people that you're trying to support with this material. We're going to talk about how to set up a campaign. It's a step-by-step process. We're going to break that down very clearly for you. We're going to talk about what an ad group is and how you use ad groups. We are going to talk about writing ads, best practices, do's and don'ts around ad writing. And finally, we're going to dig into advanced features. So there's a lot to cover. The goal here is to go through it at a pace that's going to make sense for you to absorb it, but also to be respectful of your time. We realize that you've got other things going on in your business today. So the goal is to keep this within 1 hour, including questions, and we'll do our best to stick with that. If it goes over and you have to jump off, obviously, no problem. You can catch the tail end in the library. All right, so first an intro to Google Ads. One quick note about getting started: you must have a Gmail account in order to use Google Ads. It's just what Google requires. Gmail is absolutely free. If you've got a personal Gmail account, that's fine. If you use Gmail business tools for your company email, that's fine also. Basically, it just has to be hosted on Google in order for ads to work. So don't get frustrated with that. Just go set yourself up with a Gmail account or use your Gmail account to log in, and you'll be all set. Now, what we're talking about here are the text ads that appear in search results. So we're not talking about video. We're not talking about display. We're not talking about any of the other amazing things that Google makes available for advertisers. We are simply talking about how to get your ad to the top of search results. So as you know, when you search for anything on Google, they will show you the organic search results, the pages that they think are relevant results for what it is you're searching for. And they will also often insert paid listings at the top of those results. So it's a great way for you to leapfrog over your competitors who may have been in business longer, or may have a more cohesive content strategy, or taking steps around SEO to get them to the top of the organic listings, and capture that first page traffic. Now, if you want to jump ahead of them and you want to do it immediately, not wait for Google to figure out that you've got a more viable search result, ads is the way to go. So this is how you get up at the top of that page. Now, if you're not clear about what I'm talking about with search engine optimization and organic search traffic, we've got webinars on that as well in the library that you can revisit, and you can always reach out to us if you've got questions as to how you can put that stuff to work for you. But right now we're talking about paid search, ads that appear at the top of the listings. Now, one word about functionality as far as how those ads work. Those ads are sold on an auction model. So there's not a fixed fee. You can see here that this advertiser is at the top of the search listings for Tesla repair, San Francisco. I'm not sure how much that costs. I imagine it's not super competitive because he's got the only ad on there. But some ads are very, very expensive. Some ads are super inexpensive, as much as pennies, and you're paying for the click. So this advertiser is not paying to appear at the top of the page. They're paying for me to click on that link because presumably I'm looking for a place that can repair a Tesla. So once the ad is clicked, the advertiser pays. So you're not paying for the exposure. You're only paying for the click action. That's why it's called cost per click advertising. And again, it's an auction model where you're paying a variable price that is determined by the competition. So if it's highly competitive, it could be a high cost per click. If it's not competitive, it could be a low cost per click. And the goal obviously is to find something that's going to yield lots of great search traffic and not be super competitive. So you're looking for something that maybe your competitors would have missed. Let's talk for a brief moment about the difference between Google Ads, which is the standard product that we're talking about here, the full-featured platform that really made Google what it is today, and a product that they have in the marketplace called Google AdWords Express. Now, this is a side-by-side comparison. You can see that they both offer keyword search ads. They both sell ads on a pay-per-click model. They both make ads available on multiple platforms, desktop and mobile. They both allow you to do geographical targeting. So if you only want your ads to show in a particular city or state or county or school district or country or group of countries, you can do that on both platforms. So when you look at this side-by-side comparison, seems like they're pretty comparable with one major difference, and that difference is manual setup versus automated setup. And on the face of that, why wouldn't you want to go with automated setup? I mean, frankly, it's automatic, and who knows the space better than Google. So what it comes down to, what the decision comes down to, what the difference comes down to for you is this automated versus manual. Now, the reason why you want manual instead of automated is with automated, your ad will show to everybody that they think your ad should show to. With manual, you can be very, very cautious about who your ad shows to. You can refine your ad targeting in such a way that you're not paying for clicks from people who are not ideally suited customers. So the example here is if you are advertising for um, a bike shop, you might have the keyword bike shop. With AdWords Express, they will broadly show that to anybody who searches for bike, bike shop, bike repair, maybe even motorcycle repair. If you don't repair motorcycles or sell motorcycles, well, that's a wasted click right there. That searcher is disappointed. You've paid for their click, but they're not looking for what you're selling. With AdWords, you've got a whole lot more refinement, and we're going to talk in a moment about the different kinds of AdWord targeting that you can use in order to make sure that your ad goes to the appropriate person. Uh, with AdWords Express, because you don't have the ability to really dial in your ads and your AdWords and your target on the level that you do with the standard ad product, you wind up paying more and getting worse returns. So you're basically paying more for less. It's the worst of both worlds. So I highly recommend you avoid using AdWords Express. You're almost better off not advertising at all. It's a tremendous time and money suck to set up AdWords Express and have it not perform for you. You're much better off investing that additional time and energy into Google Ads, save yourself money, and actually dial it in a way that's going to be a successful tool to grow your business. All right, so we spoke a moment ago about the different kinds of AdWord targeting. This is a grid that's really helpful for figuring out the various match types. Now, both Google Ads and Google AdWords Express default to what's called broad match. So that gives you the biggest possible audience. It's not very well refined. It's not very well targeted. And what broad match means is that if you were to put in bike shop, you would also get misspellings of bike shop, synonyms for bike shop, related searches, close variations. So basically anything that Google interprets as being similar or relevant to somebody who is searching for the term bike shop. And you can see, one sample match here is cycle store. The next level down in terms of targeting match type is broad match modifier. So this is much like the broad match, except slightly more specific. And you can see the way you format this within your AdWords account is simply by adding a plus sign in front of each word in the keyword. So, for example, plus bike plus shop. And what that means is that the search term has to include those two words. If it doesn't include those two words, it's not a match and your ad isn't going to show. So all of those words have to be in the search term. And the example here is bike repair shop. The words don't have to be directly next to each other. They don't even have to be in order. It could be shop for a bike. If somebody searched for shop for a bike, your ad would show up. Bike repair shop, bike shop San Francisco, bike shop near me. All of this would return your ad if you qualified it as a broad match modifier. So simply adding a plus sign within the ad, within the keyword in front of each word in the keyword will designate it as broad match modifier. So this is where I recommend you start. I would skip broad altogether and just go right to broad match modifier. If I were you, you'll wind up saving money. You will wind up getting a more qualified buyer through the door. So that's where you want to begin the process. The next level down in terms of targeting and focus is phrase. This is where you make an exact phrase that needs to match. You designate this to Google by putting quotation marks around your keyword. So a search term like bike shop would need to actually retain the order of the two words. So bike shop must exist in that form in the search in order for your ad to show. So example here is local bike shop. So in this case, your ad would show for that. San Francisco bike shop as well. Bike shop near me, that would also trigger your ad for the phrase, but bike repair shop would not. That would not show your ad. So you're being very, very specific about the words bike and shop appearing together. You can think about how this applies to your business, what words specifically somebody would be searching for in order to find your product or service. The final match type is an exact match. This is where you surround the keyword with brackets. And that means that it has to be exactly what it is you are, exactly what it is you are selling or advertising, as the case may be. So in this case, only the term bike shop would show your ad. So none of the other variations, local bike shop, bike repair shop, electric bike shop, none of that would return your ad, only the specific search term bike shop. So if you think about it from the perspective of something specific that you sell, that people sell other stuff that might be similar but is not the same, like if you've got a product and that product is completely unique and you've got say a serial number or something, and you just want to advertise to people who are searching for that serial number, you can use that as an exact match so that you're not advertising to people who are looking for some variation on that thing that's different from what you carry. So, you know, if you do, I don't know, if your business provides sports massage and you don't do shiatsu massage, you don't want to come up for just the word massage. You only want to come up if somebody's looking for sports massage. So this is a really important slide. If I were you, I would keep this handy as you're preparing your campaign so that you've got a point of reference and you understand how to use all of these. Once you get more advanced, once you sort of take it to the next level, you might decide to use all of these forms of keyword structuring and just bid differently. So maybe you would have a low cost bid with the broader search, so you can capture that search, but only if the cost makes sense, and a higher bid for a more specific targeted search, so that somebody who's looking exactly for what it is you sell and is very, very qualified as a customer is more likely to find you than your competitor, and you're willing to pay for that, frankly. So there's all sorts of ways that you can put this stuff to work, but please keep this slide handy as a point of reference, as it really will allow you to understand how it is you're using keywords as you put your keyword list together. So now keyword research. This is really the kind of the heart and soul of the Google ad product. If you don't have a good system in place for putting together keywords, you're going to find that Google Ads is not quite as effective as it should be. Google has a wonderful free tool that they make available to advertisers in order to do their keyword research. Now, a word about that, they've created a bit of a catch-22 here, which is they only make this tool available to advertisers. So if you're brand new to Google Ads, you've never set up a campaign, you've never run a campaign before, this tool is not available to you. So you might think to yourself, well, how am I going to put together a campaign if Google isn't going to give me the tool I need to put together my campaign? So quick and dirty hack here, just set up a random campaign. Just go in there and wing it. Don't worry about it. Plug in some random keywords, go through the steps to set up your ad group, write some ads, add your credit card into the system, make the ads live for 1 second, and then pause the campaign so you don't spend any money on that campaign, and then come back to this step. Now you're officially an advertiser and you officially have access to these tools. So congratulations. Here's how you use them. So let's start with, there's sort of two main features in the Google keyword research tool environment. The Discover New Keywords tool is where we're going to start. So we're going to keep with the bike shop example. You can see at the top of the slide, I put in some sample keywords. So these are words that I would think I should be advertising my bike shop for. It's bike shop, bicycle, and bike repair. Now, Google dug into its massive data set. You hear about big data. Google is certainly one of the biggest when it comes to data, and here's where you can put that data to work for you. Now, right below the words that I put in, right next to the magnifying glass, I put in my words. Right below that, they suggest other keywords to try: mountain bike, electric bike, bike rack, road bike, mountain bikes for sale, BMX bikes. I'm gonna choose to ignore that, but you might want to add one of those or more of those as you're building your list of keywords. Now we get to the meat of the tool here. So you can see there's a number of columns. The first column is keyword by relevance. So they're suggesting some keywords for you. Pretty straightforward. All of these make sense, or they're consistent with my bike shop example. From there, they'll tell you the average monthly searches. So on this example, all of them have 10,000 to 100,000 searches per month. That's a ton of search volume. Really plenty to justify an ad campaign. Often you'll search for something and see more of a range, stuff that gets far fewer search results. And if we were to scroll down this far enough, we would probably find stuff with lower monthly searches as well. But we don't need to do that. You understand the concept. More is better. So the more searches for your keywords, the more likely your ad is going to show, and to the right people who will then click on it and become your customer. This becomes interesting when you combine it with the next column, which is competition. So this is the amount of competition for any given keyword. Now, if you remember, these ads are sold at auction. So you're bidding against other people, other businesses that want to advertise on these keywords. So you can see that the first couple have high competition. The next one, cycle, has medium competition. If you go down the list far enough, you'll see that cycling has low competition. So high search traffic, low competition. This is what we're looking for. This is exactly where we want to be. Now, if you go over to the far right side of the page, you'll see two columns. One says top of page bid, low range, and the next column says top of page bid, high range. So if you remember, this is an auction. We're bidding against other people for placement. This is the range that you have to pay per click in order to appear at the top of the page. So to be the very first listing. Okay, so sticking with cycling here, cycling has high traffic, low competition. It looks like the low bid range is 82 cents. The high bid range is $2.55. So that's kind of a reasonable range if you're converting at a good clip. So if you've got sort of a standard conversion rate in the to sale, I should say, not just to visit, in the 1 to 2% range, and your margins justify that, you can use this data to figure out how many clicks you can afford to pay for before making a sale. So you can figure out your own break-even point using this range here, and then sort of back into your budget from there. So you can do this all day long. You could just type in various search terms, see what it shows you, see what the suggestions are. When you find a search term you like, you can check the box on the left and add it to an ad group, which is something we're going to talk about momentarily. Eventually, you're going to have a list of keywords that are hand chosen with recommendation from Google that you can use to advertise against. So that's the first part of the keyword research tool. The second part is digging even further into the data. So here we can see a more detailed view of the search volume and a forecast for what this might look like if you were to advertise with these keywords. Now, hold on to your seat here. It's a big number, but just go with me. Talk it through. Unlikely that any bike shop is actually going to budget this, but just a word of warning to brace yourself. So here we go. We have selected the same keywords that we started with last time: bicycle, bike repair, bike shop. Now Google is saying if you were to advertise with those three keywords, unlimited budget, you could reasonably expect to get 21,000 clicks to your website on 650,000 impressions. So 650,000 people will see your ad. 21,000 of those will click. It's going to cost you $27,000 at a click-through rate of 3.2% and an average cost per click of $1.29, with your average position being 1.2. So somewhere just below the first position on every single search that you do. So that's a lot. And if I'm selling bikes, I have to think to myself, can I even handle 21,000 customers? What if 21,000 people were to show up this month? Can I sell that many bikes? Can I repair that many bikes? Probably not. Okay, so this is not a super realistic scenario. However, if I'm selling downloadable software or an online course, for example, where there's no incremental cost, I don't actually have to pack up a bike and ship it to some buyer in some different part of the country. You just click on the thing, you pay, and you download. Well, this is great. Look, as long as I'm making enough margin to justify an expense of $27,000 a month, this seems absolutely reasonable. So I show you this not to terrify you, but to tell you that you've got access to this data that will help you make informed decisions. So you can use this data in a number of ways. You can click around in here and play with these tools to your heart's content. I really, really encourage you to dig right in and sort of geek out and see what you can figure out with this stuff, because it's all here for you. And frankly, Google wants you to be successful. So they're trying to give you the tools to be successful. The more successful you are, the longer you're going to advertise with them, the more of your budget you're going to allocate to advertising with them. So they're really, really invested in your success, and they're trying to give you the tools to be successful. These are the kinds of tools that you do not have access to with their Express product. So I encourage you to dig in and really make this your own and really get comfortable in this environment. So let's talk about setting up a campaign. Google makes it pretty straightforward. We'll go through step by step, but they really sort of take your hand and lead the way. There's a couple of things to look out for that I'm going to point out, but for the most part, this is no different from the 1,000 things that you've set up in your lifetime using online forms. So jumping right in, you're going to say, I want to set up a campaign. My goal with this campaign is website traffic. Obviously, there are other kinds of goals, sales and leads, etc. For the sake of this webinar, let's just focus on website traffic. It's the most universal. It's the most straightforward. So once you do that, they are going to ask you what kinds of ads you'd like to do. Again, we're just talking about search ads here. We're not talking about display or shopping or video. Those are all great. You can definitely dig in on them. Happy to help you on those at a later date, but for now, let's stick with search ads. So, simply click that to move on. Select the ways you'd like to reach your goal. That's just a complicated way of asking for your web URL. Now, here's something that I want you to consider. Really, you should be doing this for all of your marketing campaigns. You really should have landing pages for your products, for your services, possibly even for each of the different traffic sources that you're generating traffic from. not drop people directly onto your homepage and let them figure out, but drop them right onto the product page or onto a page that describes what it is they can reasonably expect. This is especially important for search traffic, where if somebody's searching for something very, very specific, you should make it super easy for them to find it and pay you money. So you might have a unique landing page for each of the products that you sell and that you're advertising, and send that search traffic to the particular product page. You might have a particular product funnel where you're giving something away in order to get people into a system where you can eventually market and sell to them. So there's a number of ways to do that. This field here is asking just for the URL. Okay, so enter it in there. Now this is critical and sort of an easy mistake to make. When you get to this screen, Search Network, Display Network, Google will have opted you in to include Google Search Partners and include Google Display Network. Now what that means is Google provides search results and ads to millions of other websites. So if you've ever visited a blog and noticed that there's ads along the side, or there's search listings, or even text-based searched ads along the side or along the top, that's populated by Google. Those ads are fine. It's a great way for those entrepreneurs to monetize their sites, their content. It's not great for you as an advertiser. In general, I advise that you unselect these boxes. Okay, you're choosing not to advertise with Search Partners or the Display Network. Those ads just don't perform quite as well as search. So for the sake of this conversation, let's leave those unchecked. If you'd like to experiment with those down the road, you certainly can, by all means. From our experience, I can tell you we don't do that. So we prefer to spend our money directly with Google. It's just a higher result. So word of warning there. Now we're going to talk about a few more boxes that you're going to have to go through in order to set up your campaign. Location, it defaults to the location that you're in. For us, that's the United States. You can advertise anywhere you want. For us, we just advertise in the United States. But you can drill down as deep as you want. You can advertise to a specific zip code. You can advertise to a whole country, a whole region. You can mix and match regions. You can advertise everywhere except a particular city, state, zip code, country. There's a lot of functionality there. Every business is going to be prioritize that differently. So spend as much time as you need to be comfortable with the locations. Select your language. Again, I think it defaults to English for everybody if you're using an English language browser setting. So probably don't need to modify that. If you've got a big population of non-English speakers who are in your target audience, then by all means enter other languages there. And sure, you can even cut English out. In fact, it's less expensive to advertise to non-English speakers. So if you've got a product that sells well in the Latin American communities and you just want to advertise in Spanish, that's a great way to save money and dial in your targeting. Same for any community, frankly. Now, budget and bidding are obviously a big deal. A word about budgeting: you're sort of going to start by throwing a dart. Didn't intend to rhyme there, but you're gonna have to come up with a number to start. We typically advise starting in the $10 to $15 a day range, understanding that may not yield results for you. You may find that you're going to have to spend more, and Google will recommend that you spend more, but that amount will give you great insights into how your ads are performing, and also allow you to make an informed decision about what your budget should be. So think of it as an investment in research, not a loss in marketing. Bidding. So again, you need to set what you want to focus on. You can set it to conversions. You can set it to clicks. You can set it to ticket sales. You can set it to all sorts of things, and you can set your target cost per action. This is sort of an advanced feature. For the sake of conversation now, let's just go with clicks. Oh, sorry. One more note about budgeting. You can see that little blue link at the bottom of the budget box with an arrow, delivery method. What they mean there is, do you want them to spread the ads out throughout the course of the day, or do you want to spend your entire budget as quickly as you possibly can? We tend to advise people to spread their budget throughout the day. You know, if you find that 100% of your sales happen between 8 and 10 a.m., then maybe you want all of your budget to go at that time. But that's not a likely scenario. That doesn't happen all that often. I would recommend you just spread the budget throughout the day. So let's talk about what an ad group is. This is a direct quote right off of the Google Ads setup page. An ad group contains one or more ads and a set of related keywords. For best results, try to focus all ads and keywords in an ad group on one product or service. So, for example, getting back to our bike shop, if we were advertising for electric bikes, which are quite popular at the moment, we might have an ad group for electric bikes, and we'd have a number of advertisements that were targeted to potential purchasers of electric bikes or people who need service on their electric bikes. We would also have a bunch of keywords around electric bikes. So electric bike repair, electric bike shop, electric bikes San Francisco, electric bikes Mission District, whatever is going to make sense, whatever you pull from the keyword tool. So all of these ads are geared towards one product. Notice how I'm not talking about an ad group here that includes electric bikes and mountain bikes and road bikes and bike repair. Those are all different areas of my business, and I might want to advertise each of those in its own ad group so that I can focus both the keywords and the ads on one particular area of my business. Writing ads. This is critical, and often people will just kind of rifle things off. We've got some best practices that we use. Now, I would also add to this list, there is no shame in borrowing from your competitors. So search for your keywords, see what their ads say, and take some inspiration, or frankly, take the thing wholesale and just make it apply to your business instead of their business. You're not going to get into copyright trouble here. And frankly, they're putting this out there into the public eye. So, you can take inspiration from it. You can benefit from the work that they've already invested in figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So do this with all your search terms. Just see who's showing up at the top. Look at the, number 2 and 3 spot, take some notes, take some inspiration, and then go write all your ads. We do 3 ads per ad group minimum. So what that means is, on my electric bike example, I would have 3 different ads written to appeal to slightly different people, slightly different calls to action. And those 3 ads will be in constant rotation. Google will optimize for which one is performing best and show that one more frequently. And then what we do is weed them out. So every few days, at least once a week, we'll revisit those 3 ads, see which ones are performing best, see which ones are performing worst. Whichever one is the lowest performing, we delete that ad, replace it with an ad that's inspired by the best performing one, with a goal to perform even better. So constant refinement, always looking for the best possible ad. We also like to apply friction within the ads. So what this means is we want to reduce unwanted clicks. We're not looking to get the most clicks. We're looking to get the best clicks. So if your product is expensive, put that in the ad. Don't be shy about it, because you don't want somebody who's looking for a discount to get in there and then be startled when they see your price and click back. You've paid for the click, but they're never going to be a customer of yours. So anything you can do to apply friction to shake out kind of the unlikely customers, the customers that are likely to waste your time and not turn into real revenue for you, put that friction front and center. So you actually want to turn those people off. Numbers and symbols are a great way to stand out when you're writing your ads. If you sort of look casually at any page of Google Ads or Google search results rather, you'll see it's a lot of words. It's a lot of words. It's a lot of letters, and people tend to notice when you include a number. So think about how you can include a number in the headline there. Avoid hyperbole. Google hates when you say, the best, or, the only, or the first, or whatever. They recognize that it's unlikely to be validated. Unless you're, unless you can sort of demonstrate that you've won a particular award that claims that you're the best, law firm in all of Northern California or whatever, they will flag your ad and they will remove it. So you're better off not messing around with that. Even if you are the best law firm in Northern California, find other ways to articulate that. Find other value propositions. Frankly, I think searchers, your potential clients, tend to frown on hyperbole also. So just kind of a best practice to avoid that. Now let's dig into advanced features. We didn't talk about negative keywords, but they're really one of the most important parts of putting together your keyword list. What it is a word that you do not want to advertise for. So, for example, getting back to the bike shop, if you've got somebody who's searching for discount bike shop, maybe you don't want that customer. If you're looking for somebody who's looking for the Walmart bike shop, you don't want that person. That person is not coming to your bike shop. That person is trying to go to Walmart's bike shop, whether it's online or in person. Doesn't matter. If they're searching for Walmart, they are not your customer. They're Walmart's customer. So you don't need to advertise to those people. You don't need them to click on your ad and cost you money. So you can use a negative keyword in order to indicate that anytime that keyword shows up in the search string, you do not want your ad to show. Now, here's where the advanced tools come in. Within Google's ad platform, if you click on tools and then go down to shared library and then go to negative keyword lists, you can make a list of those negative keywords. So, discount, Walmart, Target, whatever, motorcycle maybe, and use that list of negative keywords on all of your campaigns, so that you don't have to create those negative keywords by hand from scratch every single time you set up an ad group or every time you set up a campaign. You can just refer to this same negative keyword list. Chances are those negative keywords will apply to other areas of your business, and that'll save you some time, and it'll save you some money in the long run. Now, Google AdWords Editor is an offline product. It's actually software that you can install on your computer to, for example, work on your campaign while you're on an airplane or while you don't have internet access. It provides a lot of the functionality that you get within the web portal for the ad products. The advantage is you can create and save Excel files of keywords to then upload into your ad groups. So it's a great time saver. It allows you to bulk edit and make changes across huge chunks of data. So well worth looking at and familiarizing yourself with. It's fairly straightforward once you understand the basics of Google AdWords, Google Ads, which hopefully you do at this point. You should be able to find your way around AdWords Editor. It's a free download. So go get that. And then the last suggestion for a pro tip is Ubersuggest. I believe the URL is ubersuggest.io. It's a website where you can do keyword research. You can look at what your competitors are doing. It's equally functional for search engine optimization, which again is a way to capture organic traffic. More on that in the webinar focused on SEO in the library. But Ubersuggest is just a great tool and available to everybody. So jump in there and get familiar with that. Now we're going to do a little bit of Q&A. Let's see. Give me 1 second to navigate to the questions here. Okay, so the first question, and this likely came in before I covered budget. Where do I start with budget? How do I know that I am not throwing money away? So again, initially you are going to lose some money. You should think about it as research, not as a line item expense or a loss. You are gathering data that's going to help you be a more effective advertiser. So you just have to commit to that. I'm sorry, I know it stings a little bit. Those early losses are uncomfortable for everyone, but think about it as a research project, and cap your spending at a number that's going to make sense, and then go back to the drawing board and use the data that you found, use the lessons learned, and come up with a budget that's going to be reasonable for you based on what your margins are, based on what your conversions are from that early traffic. Hope that answers that. Let's see. Okay, is there anything you would not advertise on Google? So there's a number of ways to interpret this question. One, there are certainly categories that Google bans. They just frankly do not allow you to advertise things like Apple. It's not that allowed. You cannot do that. You can also not advertise anything that's illegal. You can't sell human organs or drugs or hitman services. So clearly you don't want to do that. If the question is interpreted differently, is there anything you would not advertise on Google? Really hard to think of anything that's allowed to be advertised on Google that would not effectively be advertised on Google. One thing that comes up with a lot of client conversations is this is a B2B product or software. We're selling to oil refineries, or we're selling to government agencies, or we're selling to large software companies. Well, at the end of the day, you're selling to humans. So that person, chances are, they are searching on Google for your product or service. There's no reason not to include Google as one of the channels that you're advertising on. I'd be hard pressed to think of anything that can be advertised on Google that should not be advertised on Google. Frankly, it's really great for everyone. So you should strongly consider it. Okay, so here's another question that references something earlier mentioned. Express seems pretty tempting. Why not use it? The reason not to use it is because you can't refine keywords in a way that is going to allow you to really zero in on who your likely buyers are. It will allow you to get a campaign live very, very fast, but you're going to spend more and earn less, which is really the opposite of what it is you should be going for. So my advice to you is to not use Express. Go right into the more complicated primary Google Ads platform. Figure it out. Take some of the lessons learned from this webinar and really dive right in and use the full product as it's meant to be used. The last question here is about conversions. So the question is, would you use Google Ads to build your mailing list? That's a great question, and and very very nuanced. So clearly you're thinking about marketing in a way that's rather sophisticated, which is, should you be getting people into your system, onto your mailing list or into your funnel, so that you can market to them later? The answer is yes. The more you can the more you can manage the experience that the user is having with your content and product, the more likely you are to be successful in converting them to a paying customer. So I do recommend it as a tool for building your list, but be careful. Lists will require additional monetization down the road, and you will be paying for those Google ads. So it is conceivable that it gets very expensive very fast before you can monetize that list. So you just want to keep an eye on budget if that's what it is you're going to be doing with it. So let's see. I think those are all the questions that I see. So so moving on here, I want to highlight a couple of other options for Google Ads. Clearly, you're here because you're interested in putting Google Ads to work for your business. If you'd like additional education on the subject, we are more than happy to sit down with you one-to-one and come up with a custom plan for you. Answer any specific questions that you have that maybe you didn't quite articulate in this webinar, and really get you ramped up very, very quickly. We also, as I mentioned earlier, would be happy to manage your Google Ads program for you. So if this is something you know that your business needs, and you also know that you're not going to take the time to get it dialed in properly, and you don't want to just throw money away, we have a great team of Google Ads managers who can get to work for you right away and deliver far, far better results than you're going to see, at least in the early days. I imagine you could become an expert as well. But if you choose not to become an expert and you just want expert results from day one, we can do that for you. We also provide a service called retargeting, which we didn't get into here, where basically those ads that follow you around the web. So if you were to search for a new laptop on Google and you clicked on somebody's ad, you might then see that ad when you go to another website. That's called retargeting, where basically you're planting a cookie on their site and then showing your ad again. That's an additional service that we provide to our clients, and frankly, something else that you can educate yourself on within the Google Ads environment, so you can take advantage of that also. Very, very effective. There are some upcoming growth opportunities. So there will be a free webinar on course creation in July. So online courses are things like webinars, things like membership portals, things like email tutorials, where you, as an expert in your business, can sell or even give away instruction on a variety of subjects. So we're going to be talking about how to set that up and how to make that a part of your marketing mix. So that's coming up in July. Keep an eye on our emails for an exact date for that. With the July 4th holiday, things are pushed back a bit. We're also going to be doing a LinkedIn Groups webinar later in July. That's going to be a standard paid webinar, as this is, and again, all webinars will be available in the membership area after the fact. So, if the dates don't work with your travel plans or your other professional responsibilities, no problem. You can watch them at your leisure and share them with your team after the fact. We'll be doing an Instagram marketing webinar in August. That's one of our most popular subjects. So you want to get your seat for that early. Instagram is simply just an incredibly powerful tool. Shockingly more powerful than Facebook, its parent company. And there's a number of tricks that you can put to work right away to make that a viable source of inbound leads. And then, of course, as always, we provide specialty tracks for attorneys, real estate professionals, and those working in the cannabis industry. So if you'd like more information on that, please check the website or contact us directly. So As always, we offer a free 15-minute consultation to anybody that attends our webinars. The link is right there, lpss.co/calendar booking. Please go in there and find a time that's going to work for you. Happy to jump on the call and talk about Google Ads. We can talk about SEO. We can talk about Instagram, or we can talk about something not marketing related. If you want to talk about baseball, I have opinions about that. I'm happy to talk about what book you're reading or what podcasts you listen to. Just ready to chat. We provide a weekly newsletter, as you likely know. If you're not already on the list, please sign up at the website. And if you've got questions, you can always contact our trusty admin, Renee, who will make sure to field your emails and direct them to the appropriate place so that you get your questions answered. Thank you so much for joining. This has been a real pleasure. Like I said, it was a complicated subject with a lot of nuance and detail, and I appreciate you bearing with as we raced through some of the finer points. Again, you can always rewatch it in the library in your membership area. If you've got questions or missed any of it, slides will be available, and we are happy to chat. So thank you so much for your participation, and we look forward to seeing you at future events. So go out and grow your business. Thanks so much.